So this is going to be just a normal video. It is storming outside, and I decided what is a better way to spend this day than by talking about opinions that I have that may or may not be in agreement or disagreement with other people. Also, the other reason why I wanted to film this was because my hair looked really good. Like, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to list some opinions and you can agree or disagree with them. Either way, I don't mind. But the first take would be then. Let's continue. So I even have them written down. If you want to follow along, sure. The first one, AI is slowly taking away our ability to think. And this one I feel very strongly about. I could give you so many examples in how people have just, like, the amount of times I've heard of people say, I would ask them a question and they would say, oh, let me just go on ChatGPT and ask them. Another thing is, if you look at, like, I have so many examples of this. If you look at social media, first of all, almost the whole of Facebook, I don't even think it matters with the algorithm anymore, but if you scroll down a feed of someone's Facebook account, you'll see AI slop almost every second scroll, and it's so concerning because it's just so unappealing, it's just so unattractive. It's just not even with the aesthetics, but also like you're feeding your brain all these pieces of nonsense and you can't even tell what's real and what's fake anymore. My sister even sent me a picture yesterday and it was of these people in a line, and I said, oh my word, that's just so insane. And she told me that it's AI. I was so surprised and so disgusted with myself and how I couldn't, like, you couldn't even pick up the fact that it was AI. That's how concerning it was. Another thing is also when you take away your ability to think, you're putting your intelligence in the hand of a machine, and a machine doesn't know things because, wait, hang on. A machine only knows of things because you teach them those things. And I think it's also so concerning in how people are putting their belief into a machine, putting their belief into AI, putting their belief into something that will eventually, I hope, burst and break and blow up in their faces. Not that I am, well, in many ways I am anti-AI, because the process of thinking, I think, is so important and so essential to the human nature. Like, if you think about academics in its form, people have looked through research, people have done the research, people have even gone from person to person in asking the research. Now you can even go online and search a topic. It'll give you information about it. It won't be correct because most AI is not correct, but also it's now giving you the ability to be dependent on AI, which I really don't like. I don't like the fact that people are just so hung up on the fact that if AI is to disappear, then they can't think. What have you been doing this whole time before AI started, before it arrived? You've been thinking for yourself, you've been using your brain. People's brains are not... It just makes me so angry that you have the audacity to say, I can't think without AI, because you can. Why do you have a brain if you don't... If you, like, you're not using it to its full potential, and I do believe that if you don't use it, your thinking skills and your critical skills, every skill that you've built until now, it's just going to be rendered useless. And even children now, they're becoming so dependent on AI and the internet, like they can't read. One of my friends has a 10-year-old niece. She can't read, she can't write, she has to use a voice recording to send messages. Also, the fact that she has a phone is very concerning, but that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, I do believe that AI is slowly taking away our ability to do anything. Who knows what will happen in the next few years? I really am scared for the future. Okay, that's the first part. For the next opinion that I have, number 2, being alone is better than being with someone you don't like. And I know that if someone is watching this, they'll probably say, no, but I do enjoy the person's company from time to time. Sure, that could be nice, but I do feel that if you're going to spend your time with someone and put all your effort into someone and investing emotion into someone, you're going to want to spend time with them. It shouldn't feel like a chore or a task if you want to hang out with them. And I think it's so concerning for people who have been dating for a year, 2, 3, 4 years, and they still feel the need to say, oh no, we break up from time to time and we always get back together. What's the point of getting back together then breaking up again? You guys are not in a solid relationship. And I do strongly feel so, like, it's just so important for me to be with someone that I actually like. Not that this is true, but I do get annoyed with people from time to time, and I think that if I were to be with someone who would annoy me almost always, every time we hang out, I'm not going to want to get close to this person or want to develop a stronger relationship with this person. I think that you're just scared of being alone. You're scared of thinking, and it ties back again to the thing of thinking. You're scared of being alone, you're scared of being alone with your thoughts specifically, because I know that is a kind of scary place to be in. Don't get me wrong, I do understand that completely. But I think that if you want to build a solid connection with someone and you want to make it last, find someone that you actually like, please. Because we are sick of hearing you say, oh, we broke up and now this is our how many time breaking up, but we're gonna get back together because we love each other so much. No. We're all tired. Please just stop right there. Number 3, religion shouldn't be an excuse to critique on someone else's beliefs. And this one I've seen from an outside perspective. People are always, I don't want to put labels on religion, but take a religion for example, doesn't matter which one. They go out of their way to critique someone because they bring evidence such as, oh, this piece of evidence from my religion told me that it's unethical to do that, or it's not in the will of this person to do that. You don't have to criticize people in their lifestyle because you disagree with it. That's an issue on your own. Like, if I look at someone and something about it bothers me, I'm not going to go out of my way to say, oh, I actually don't disagree with you because A, B, and C. I'm just gonna leave this person. It's not harming me, it's not harming them. It really doesn't matter at all. And I think the only thing that you see a problem with is because you're possibly projecting. I really don't know. But for every piece of problem, well, that doesn't make sense, for every problem that you point out, it's not going to help you in the long run. It's not even going to help you in the short run, because you're not benefiting from that. You're only causing people stress, and for what? A moment of satisfaction. I don't see how you could possibly benefit from that. Just let your religion be your own, let their person's belief be their own, and stop interfering with people. We're all tired. Because now you look like a fool and you've made this person look like a fool. What's going on? You know? Number 4, music today can become its own era if artists were discovered. Now let me delve into this. So my sister and I were discussing this, and we both agreed that music back then was in its own right amazing, but also because, let's say for the 60s example, the 60s, people had to be discovered and signed by a record, and that record had to give them money, and that record had to pay for the music that they were making, this whole thing. You wouldn't really survive in the music scene if you didn't have a record label. That's from the popular examples that I've seen. And almost all of them had someone to back them up, because music was then put out in a way that your record label was repping you. Now we have the 21st century, and people are able to produce music themselves. They can produce them independently, which is amazing. I really do love that for people making music now. The thing is also, when you get a mix of an artist and a record label now, from what I've seen, they're always trying to push an agenda forward, either in it being pop or rock. Even rock now is unfortunately not as mainstream from what I've seen as it used to be. And I think that the ability to make music shouldn't be taken away from you because you're not signed to a record label. Like, I know that there are a lot of people and a lot of artists who are so good at what they do and are so good at making music, but they're not getting the recognition they deserve, either because the algorithm, once again, algorithm is not pushing them forward, or a record label is not signed to them, or because there is another artist bigger than them but not making nearly as good music as they are, as the other person is. So I do feel that music can definitely become its own era, like we have the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and also subgenres, but only if there would be a space for inclusivity. And I know that's also difficult because the music scene is already so oversaturated with slop. Again, bringing it back to AI. And I think that every time we introduce music, it doesn't really... We have to think, like when I listen to music, I think, does it do the job that music is supposed to do for me? Does it sound good? Does it make me happy? Does it make me sad? What are the factors that the music that I'm listening to brings me? And it's also not helpful that AI is promoting music and putting it on Spotify. Like, Spotify actively promotes AI artists, which I really hate, because now, what's that one band? The Velvet Sundown. I listened to one song before I knew that they were AI. And I listened to it and I thought, oh, this is, it has a nice feel to it. Come to my attention and come to my surprise, it was AI. And that was so sad because I didn't go and search for that AI band. It showed up in my recommend. So now it tells me that AI is actively pushing, or Spotify is actively pushing AI artists to the foreground. And now you also get AI artists topping the Billboard. That's also very concerning. We need music as people. Well, I would like to think we need music as people. Music is so important in how we express ourselves, in how we feel about ourselves. It can definitely change our mood, because I listen to music when I'm sad, I listen to music when I'm happy. I just love music so much. And if we take away that ability to have the humanity in music, where will we be? What are we going to do with music if it's all AI generated, if it's all created by a machine? And I know that it also ties back to music being created by a machine, like a drum machine, or when a producer is making music that they use machine. That's different. Is it really though? I don't know. But we're taking away we're taking away the humanity of music. And people can make mistakes. If you listen to songs back then where, tapes were expensive and it was expensive to replace and expensive to also make mistakes. The mistakes that you find in songs, like if you listen to Roxanne by The Police, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it just adds to a certain kind of charm and kind of feel that humanity gets that a machine can't really pick up. And I do wish that record companies understood that and the music industry understood that, but unfortunately they don't. Unfortunately they don't. So for the next few years in history, in music, I'm very scared because I feel that music is getting worse and worse when I listen to what's trending on the Billboard. Now, I feel that art is also a lost form when it comes to music videos, because I've noticed that, or I remember seeing that the streams for YouTube videos also correlate with what position you are on in the Billboard. Now the streams for, or now the views for YouTube don't even add on to the position that you are on Billboard. And now it's making more people post to Spotify instead of actually making art and music videos. I love music videos so much, and it's so sad to see that art in itself is just disappearing. Yeah, that was probably my longest rant because I feel very passionate about that. The last one, we would be nowhere without black musicians. Now this one, it also ties into music. This one, if you look at any popular bands, right? There's always a black artist or a black name that they tie to. Now let me give you an example. If you look at the Rolling Stones, if you look at the Beatles, if you look at the Monkees, if you look at any band, even, well, I wouldn't say that one. If you look at any band from Elvis Presley, any band or artist from the 50s, 60s, 70s, they do mention their ties to black artists and how they have helped them develop their sound, or how they get their I can't even find the word now, but how they eventually create music is from the inspiration from black artists. Now, if you look at 60s specifically, like, I feel very passionate about this one. We have, and I even, like, I'm bringing in information. We have Otis Redding, we have The Temptations, we have Marvin Gaye, we have Aretha Franklin, we have Stevie Wonder. All of those people, you know, they are popular names, but I do feel that the white artists, like the Rolling Stones, for example, which I feel is a very important topic, because yes, they do work with black artists, they do collab with black artists, but it's always the Rolling Stones that's tied to the name that makes the album sell. If you look at the song Give Me Shelter, right? The woman, for the life of me, I can't remember her name. See, again, I need to, let me just see, hang on. Her name is, it's loading, Mary Clayton. So we have Mary Clayton, who sang on Give Me Shelter by the Rolling Stones. Great song. If you want to listen to it, I highly recommend it. She brings so much soul and so much emotion and so much power to this song. Also, the unfortunate thing is she was pregnant when making the song, when she sang it. She would later get a miscarriage. I think that's from what I've heard, yeah, she had a miscarriage after the song was released because of all the strain and all the energy that was taken out of her. Very sad story. But I do think that we don't give the flowers enough. Like, yes, they're popular, they're very influential, we would say, but it's always the white artists that are bringing it, or bringing news and bringing information and getting the recognition for the music. Like, yes, you can see that Stevie Wonder is in his own right an amazing artist, But then if you compare it to someone, I know that these two are not comparable, but if you compare it to Elvis Presley in the 1950s, he profited off of black people and black music. That is a perfect example right there, and I do think that it's so unfortunate that, sure, I don't even know if he gave him recognition, but the fact that he put so much influence of black music into his music, and now he was profiting off of that, I think is just so insane to me. Another artist I would say, well, he also references it in one of his songs, Eminem, where he also capitalizes off of black culture and black music. Like, if you think early 2000s Eminem wearing a do-rag, wearing a wearing a wife beater, wearing a gold chain on stage, rapping alongside 50 Cent, which is cool, but who is the artist of the 2000s that you would say stands out? Sure that there are more, like I'm saying now, there are definitely black artists that paved the way, but then you always tie it back to a white artist and say, okay, well, Eminem was inspired by, or Eminem was drawing inspiration from. It's not always this person, and this person who happen to be black artists are being talked about. Which I think, well, people in the comments, if you want to comment, they can definitely disagree with me. And I do think that, well, it's all because of getting music that, I don't even know what to say, but yeah, unfortunately, that is a thing. That is definitely something that sticks with me. If you even look at Chuck Berry, he collabed with John Lennon, but also I only know Chuck Berry because of John Lennon. So you can see, and yeah, unfortunately that is a thing that I don't really appreciate, but it happens. It happened, and I'm sure it will continue to happen. But yeah, that was my rant video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you enjoyed me complaining. I also enjoyed filming because my hair is looking really nice today, and that's one of the only reasons why I filmed this 22-minute video. So I hope that you enjoyed, I hope that you are safe, and I hope that this video was at least good background noise, I would say. Okay, bye.